Oh, okay, can you all see me now? And Gigi, Alice Little, Miss Elizabeth, you all see me now? Oh, Valerie. Okay, I'm just going on. I don't know why it's oh, okay. I'm getting a little confused with the names. I see a space. Okay, well, welcome, Miss Elizabeth Freeman and Valerie and Alex Little. Um, yeah, so, okay, so you all can see me now. It takes like 15 seconds for you to receive a response, so there's a delay. Oh, okay. Well, this is my new space on YouTube, and hopefully this one works out a lot better than the issues I was having with unfortunately Mama Lion and Sadasa. I'm hoping that everything turns out okay. At least here, you all are able to come in to ask any questions or share any information through the live screen known as StreamYard. So that actually works out better for us. So you don't always necessarily have to hear and see just me, because this is where a platform where we actually learn how to communicate and support one another and listen to one another and reason with one another, and it not being so one-sided. Because if we're going to go out to try to counsel others, we must first learn how to be able to do it among ourselves and be effective, so that um, we just have a platform of communication and then allow others to be heard. Because sometimes it's not always about being heard, but just giving an ear to listen. So when we decide to activate our wisdom mind, our seed of sagacity, then we do it in sincerity, spirit, and in truth. So I give thanks to the divine spirit for allowing this door to be open for a different way of going about making some things happen. Okay, so today I'm trying this out, so I'm not going to hold you all long, but it appears to be going well so far, as long as you can hear me. This is a platform in reference to making things um, clear, in reference to bringing forth your awakening divine spiritual gift to contribute to our divine protection and provision and counsel and comfort and healing in a time of unrest. I give thanks to the universe that the Spirit has given us an opportunity to sit down and reason and start asking questions and not allowing the distractions that we create for ourselves, or what I guess religion or government or jobs or anything that might cause us to be distracted from what the divine is wanting to speak to us, in making sure that we're got our medicine, our first aid kit, our first aid kit in order, because it's definitely time to be aware of what's happening in our surroundings, and in preparation for when the divine says um, move, that we be able to move, and that we not have to fear in such a time as this, because it's not a time for fear, but a time to activate that divine spirit that we are. We are the seed of the originators now being awakened in us for those dry bones and valley of the dry bones, and what appears to be dead is now awakening and making a powerful resurrection in our minds that eventually our bodies will have to follow. So I give thanks and I give honor to our divine spirit to allow this platform to be utilized, that um, our um, our ability to activate what was laying within us for just as a time as this to be awakened. I would say this would be like a platform to the Sacerdotal Matriarchal Lioness Wisdom Council with the EL, and that we are going to be a responsive assembly of great women, great grandmothers, and women, and who have an international and divine consciousness, that we reconnect and be that source that's going to be the awakening light into the world. For wherever we tread our feet and lay our hands, and where we speak, that it be confirmed by the universe in order to bring what was scattered back into one. So some of us have already joined locally and abroad from, other parts of the world, to unite in this divine mindfulness of the universe and um, paradigm shift. Excuse me, I'm a little, feel a little stiff in the neck. But nevertheless, in honor of the divine femaleness and warrior lioness leadership, it is time for us to activate and be in preparation for this paradigm shift, and that we bring our spiritual gifts together, and where one lacks, another is more abundant. But when we come together, we recognize that we will not be lacking in anything, because everybody's gift is significant. So we will be complete and whole. So, nevertheless, we are going to be that resurrection movement who will aim to welcome and assist and support and offer our spiritual and social, matriarchal, cultural, the sequel support and network, keeping in mind that the divine has planted the seeds in different cultures. And since we definitely are here in the US of A, where they have stolen our culture, hidden our divine culture, and we have come subjected and accustomed to a culture that is not DNA and actually divinely, purposely for us. We have been residual in maintaining and surviving, but now it's time for us to reconnect to our divine culture and perspective that's going to allow us to be what the enemy fears. They don't fear sheep leading lions, they fear lioness leading sheep. So we must have that mentality and that consciousness and that understanding and that divine connection to be able to manifest what is needed within ourselves, so we can be effective to others, and that we can lead them to that straight and narrow path that only a few will be able to find. Also, I would say that the divine is going to be utilizing this platform, Wisdom Speaks for Clarity, as a network to women of all nationalities, in of the four corners of the earth, in the unified agreement that the root of the tree of life is in the BLAAC, first woman, who is the mother of all nations. And then, see, BLAAC is an acronym that the divine has given me back in 2017. And it actually stands for Beautiful Legacy of Ancient Ancestral Consciousness. And that's a whole nother powerful testimony how that came about. But that lays a platform. But when you look at it at a glance, it can say black, but unless is actually directed to the the beautiful melanated kissed by the sun woman, because it's important for her to recognize her significance, her importance, her uniqueness, her divine order of the seat that was given to her from the very beginning to be the birth portal for all women that's going to be coming behind her. So that's the reason why it's important that even though this platform is going to be open to all different nationalities and what they deem as races or, cultures, um, the one thing that we're going to have in common is recognizing the first woman that the divine cosmos and Mother Earth came together and created as a manifestation and representation of their divine protection, provision, counsel, and comfort, the wisdom to be have the ability to create truth. I mean, not created, but manifest truth and balance, order, um, law of the land, um, uh, justice, uh, harmony, and is it Horace? Let me see, because I know it's seven. Truth, balance, order, harmony, law. Oh, morality, and justice. And so we are the manifestation of the stewardship of that protection, of having what it really truly means to have dominion over the earth. It's not to dominate. There's a difference between dominion over and dominating. Women, we know to have dominion is to protect and to make sure that what was in its natural form remains natural, and anything that will come in contact with it has to be of a natural state because it's a sentient being. If it breathes, if it's has the ability to think and to smell, to use the five senses, including the mind, which is the sixth senses, and the seventh senses is to energy, the energy to make those things happen. And then the cosmos, the universe itself, has seven laws that we must be, or what you would call principles, to be in alignment with. And those seven are the universe is mentalism. It's like a mind, it's thought. Everything is manifested from a thought, and the divine is a self-existent one. But everything that is birthed into existence comes from the divine's thoughts that is higher than our thoughts. So there's no sense of trying to figure her out, but to make sure that we figure her in whatever decisions that we make, that they be in alignment with the universe of the mind and of rhythm, vibration, polarity. Um, I don't know. Sometimes I get stuck. well, and gender and correspondence. So we are very significant, and this is the reason why over the different millenniums, ever since the sacerdotal seat of divine leadership, which was through the woman, has been suppressed and oppressed, was specifically because of just that, when man feels like, because of his status and the work that he does, or the way he thinks, or the strength that he has, that he is in more of a leadership and controlled method of dominating, because the men who avow it, they don't think that way, because they recognize that they wouldn't have been here unless they come through the portal of a woman. And so they would uplift her, they would protect her, and even in the animal kingdom, when a lion um, is protecting the outskirts, if you notice, the lioness is always the one who is the hunter. The women, the lioness, they come together and they hunt and they work together, and everybody knows their strategic places in order to make a successful kill. And when a cub is born, it's like, this seems like all the women just take on that mother in nature. So the cub doesn't necessarily have to suckle from the direct birth portal that it came from, but they were all work together and nurture that child, because that cub, but I'm still speaking from a divine realistic human perspective, a sentient being. But nevertheless, so they work together to nurture. And that's where our ancestors didn't worship animals, but they were able to learn from animals. And then even through the Bible, it tells you to look to the animals. They can teach you something. Look to the fish in the sea. They can also show you things, as well as the birds, any and everything. Man does not have dominance when it comes to teaching, because if you're going to be a teacher, you must learn something from somewhere before you can teach. And then you can still be an example, this, that, and the other. But I don't want to get off the track. But nevertheless, so um, the Black woman, they would have in common in this network, the woman, the mother of all nations, and that we will be working together to put back what the adversary has taken from us. And we're going to have discussions more privately in reference to how we're going to go about doing that, because that's one of the main things, the difference between men and women when it comes to figuring out a solution. Men like to talk about it, openly, and I guess they fail to realize that the system that they're using to communicate with one another is built by their enemy. So there's always going to be a time that you would have to think, are you speaking something that should be spoken in private? Or do you don't have a problem with discussing your plans where somebody can hear you and be 2 or 3 steps ahead of you, just based on what you want to do versus what they're capable of doing right now? So there's a lot of things that we will be um, discussing and working on that will not be done over um, the web of the enemy. So, nevertheless, we will offer like a show and tell, to share among one another and implement to manifest. And we will also this platform can be as a collaborating information to one another, to expand our re let's see. Well, yeah, basically to expand and to confirm our concrete spirits and our like-mindedness, mindfulness, and that we, as the seed of the woman, will also be the counsel with the SEL in the purpose of a CIL as the peaceful and prosperous golden days, because we represent what is determined from the beginning will also determine the end to the fall of this present system. Now, this system is going definitely through a paradigm shift. They come to the conclusion that yes, these people are definitely awake, and we need to bring things to a standstill now. But it's like the divine can either harden the heart or soften the heart. And because so many of us who needs to be together and communicating right now, and whatever personal issues that is keeping us from being able to do that, these distractions, the divine is the one who has given us this great spirit. Man does not get this glory, considering he does not have the first nor the last word, nor the first breath, nor the last breath. So just count it all joy, be grateful. That we do have this grace period and that we utilize it in a manner that we be empowered, you know. But that we'll go into that some more. But nevertheless, our feminine nature and nurturing is well needed right now. We need to give encouragement, upliftment, and respect and a listening ear, as well as a voice of calmness and peacefulness. And people are going to be asking a lot of questions. This is like in preparation for the harvest. You know, a lot of people are associated with a lot of different things, but this is more in alignment with the prophecies that I had spoken before in other um, um, on my other channel that I had on the lioness. But it's a spiritual, but it's manifesting in the physical, and so it's more in alignment that it takes a great falling away. So when a tree drops its fruit, then there has to be a harvest. The gatherers to gather the harvest. So the divine utilizes things from nature in order to, I guess, give a um, um, there's a word right at the tip of my tongue. Um, ooh, a vicarious image, of what the divine. Oh, divine hoodie is here. Oh, okay. Hope not. Like, wait a minute. Oops. Excuse me. Wait a minute. I lost my page. Uh, okay, so it's 406. Well, okay, that was 3 minutes ago. Greetings, divine hoodie. Okay, it seems like they're starting to mess with my. Yeah, so can you all still see me and hear me? I need a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up or something, because my page is acting like really wacky right now. Can you see me, hear me? I remember Alex says that there's like a delay, but if you all can hear me or see me. Oh, okay. I see something. All right, good, thanks. Thank you. Because I was like, oh, here we go. because it never fails, no matter what. Sometimes you can say like these words that just would trigger like a response of let's start messing with her conversation or his conversation or whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, so there's very important that we recognize and be in touch with our mothering nurture and nurturing our nature, her nature and nurturing. Now, some of us, because of our own personal experiences and um, still trying to make things more easy to deal with, are still growing in certain areas where others might be a little bit more mature in certain areas versus others. But even if a person is not quite there yet, they still have to have an ear to listen, and they have to be open to discuss whatever it is that they feel like can be is like a stronghold from them being able to advance forward. Because it's okay to have weaknesses, but don't allow the weaknesses to control you, because this is a time of advancement. Every day, every moment has a divine purpose in order for us to get to a point of a destiny that is already ordained for us to be, because we have to be strategically placed where we're supposed to be. And if we're so busy looking at our weakness and saying what we can't do, when the divine has already empowered you to even be awakened, that it is time for you to take that stand. She already knows our limitations and our abilities and our non-abilities. But when you're working together as a group, either directly or indirectly, solitary, but solidarity, we're still going to be in touch with that one power source, that we should not have to feel that we or would be lacking anything. So because we will be reaching out, to a multicultural acknowledgement, because there's so much suffering going on everywhere. Nobody is exempt from the things that are happening and is going to happen, because the divine, this is her footstool, and all of us that live on it are subjected to her change and her paradigm shift. So the one thing that she shows through nature, and even through this disease, it's no respect of person, because it's affecting everyone everywhere. And so even that, we can find ourselves that we can come together, because we all are affected and can be infected by this one disease, whether it's man-made or divinely prophesied. It's here, and there's things that needs to be done in order to survive through what the enemy has in plan. So I'm definitely going to be going over some things that the divine spirit allows me to receive through this, what do they call it, distancing, which is like, actually, if you all notice, it's like really works out. It just gives you a little bit more time to just sigh. Like like take a breath, take a breather, and just like focus. But I know it's difficult. I mean, your thought has to go there when it comes to paying bills and this, that, and the other. But when you're divinely connected and you understand what's happening, even that too is not going to be a problem. Especially when you realize, no matter if you lose a structured roof over your head that is built by the hands of man, you still have a roof over your head by the sky. And we go outside when we want to like be in touch with nature. So it's not that we're going outside, we're actually returning home. Is when we come indoors, we come outside of nature. So nevertheless, that's there's a lot of different perspectives and enlightening to come from so many different categories, but we are going to be responsible of making that divine connection with all different walks of life and all different status, because we have to be that nurturing voice and that listening ear, like I said before. And we have to be significant, and in harmony with people's emotions and their feelings. And some of us are better than others when it comes to like my issue with like my voice, even though I be trying to speak like these encouraging and loving and compassionate and just like, to me it makes me feel all giddy on the inside. But my voice, I notice when I'm trying to speak a certain way, just the tone or the tune, they can't really attached to the emotional part, but they'll always say, I can hear you and I thank you for the word and everything. But and then I'm one of those type, after you acknowledge it, it's like I want to just hug you and just hold you because you're like a sister or a brother or a little child or a grandparent or something. And I just have like this strong urge that I just want to hug and let you feel what I feel when I know that everything is going to be all right, you know. But nevertheless, everybody has a choice. The divine is not the type of entity or deity that will force anything, but she will let the knowledge that a lot of people perish from be known. And just based on the choices that you make, can actually govern your fate, FATE. So, we're going to be addressing the freedom, in the CIL perspective, and how the divine spirit is going to allow that to unfold. I'm looking forward to that. But we will be speaking on behalf of the fatherless and the motherless, the widows, the disadvantaged, the poor, the jobless, the homeless, the elders, the disabled. You know what? As a matter of fact, I noticed in some of these speeches that was being made from the um, White House, that their concern is about the elders. And when I first heard that come into my ears, because they were saying, that, we have to look out for the most vulnerable. We have to look out for the one who are, the elders. But yet, you're signing this bill that their main source of income to keep a roof over their heads and food in their mouths and pays their bills and clothes on their back, you're actually signing that off as not an earned income, but now as what was the word? Spirit revealed it to me, like a some type of charity or gift that they can cut on or cut off. you know um that I'm going to have to address that another time, because that right there. But just the significance of knowing that they blame this deficit, basically on the money that they have to put out, or that they're spending on maintaining the aged, or the chronically ill. And they really not really spending a whole lot of money on the poor and the homeless, because if that was the case, they wouldn't be poor and they wouldn't be homeless. If anything, some of the churches are probably doing more for them than the government, but that's a whole nother subject, and that would also be addressed. But nevertheless, we will provide a social like-minded forum from this platform. And I don't know what the divine has been working on you all with in contribution that might sounds like it would fit in to this on this platform, but I know for sure um, Linus Divine has already created like a syllabus for what she was working on from her vision from a lioness circle perspective. And so that would be implemented. And then there's a few other sisters who I know that they're working on some things. So we will be coming together and seeing how everything can fit in together, because we will eventually, since we're going to make a universal divine connections from the feminine power resurrection, and we will be creating international relationship with elders to the youth unity throughout utilizing a griot perspective, and griots are like storytellers, artists from any type, delivering a message, but it's going to be done through artistry. We're also going to be create a council of healing sites, different sites for healing. Where people can either come or we will be equipped to go to. But the divine will work all of that out as well through the listening ears and the receptive hands to be able to give as well. We will be learning each other's diverse culture and commonality and uniqueness in reference to the international perspective. So we can see that our division was not is not divine, but was man made, to keep the women from connecting. And all we have to do to reconnect is first first and foremost recognize that we are all women. So regardless of the shade of the flower that we betray of our skins, we still are a portal of life, and that life that no matter from within, and once that life is portaled out, we still have that nurturing responsibility to make sure that the environment is raised in, and the environment it must go out in for an individuality, that it would be a safe so they can be productive, so we will be doing that as well. And so for let me see, restoring and redeeming and repairing the sacerdotal seat. So we're going to be getting into that, but you can look up sacerdotal seat. And those of you who have already gotten the book, The Civils, that word should be very familiar. And that is very prominent. This is kind of like like our, uh, with some people, I don't know, I don't even want to use the word Bible, but nevertheless, it's where our truth is manifested. And then there's some more information that I will be sending out to you all can make connection with somebody I've been communicating for years, but we haven't spoken for a couple of years, but I'm looking forward to having her on as a guest. She's very internationally well known, and she has spent over 30 some odd years in researching the matriarchal feminist, not from a male's perspective, but that just doesn't even really make sense when people would get up in an uproar of the word feminist when we are feminine. We are the manifestation of a female, but there's one that was created by men, where unfortunately you have females who feel like they don't need men. And I've even been accused of that because I put so much emphasis and reference and focus on the divine feminine and mother. It's just that I know what time it is and I know who I'm supposed to be talking about and giving my energy to. But that doesn't mean I do not acknowledge the masculine, the male, but he's reawakening to what his position is, and it's not going to be the same of what it was yesterday in today's new day. So anyway, we're going to be providing vision, focus, and support being a mindful Ubuntu strategy in order to participate in activities and building empathetic communities. And so, just in case you're not familiar, there's an Ubuntu, because there's one thing I don't know if you all noticed, but anything like when you come into the knowledge and you notice that a lot of the symbolic or the language that they use is actually originated in the motherland, or at least of cultures descended from the motherlands. But when it gets into the hands and the minds and out of the mouths of our oppressor, they change the meaning of something so they can receive that energy. Like Ubuntu originally is an African terminology that I exist, you exist, we exist because, we're unified together. But they actually they created an Ubuntu computer organization, and like I remember back in the day when I would first looked up African Queen, pop up, pop up, pop up, pop up. Nothing but this white woman. It was a movie that was, I don't know, maybe in the 70s. Yeah, maybe the late 70s, early 80s, called The African Queen. Humphrey Bogart, and I forget the lady's name, but that went on for pages after pages after pages, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm thinking, like, in my mind, when I say African Queen, I'm looking for a melanated woman, sitting on her throne with some cheetahs, some lions, or something, leopards, and but all I saw was something based on. And then even before you get to actually see an African queen, they after 3 or 4 different pages, they would go start showing, the other women. Oh, Audrey Hepburn. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's just amazing. So now that we got this this platform now, see, now let's see. Now, if one of you all, or if both, well, let's just do it one at a time. So if Alex Little, or yeah, I'll start with Alice. Alice, if you want to come in, if you want to say something, I don't know how to do this. Wait a minute. If you want to say something, any of you, if you want to say something and add to, magnify, edify, anything that's on your heart or what has been said, put a thumbs up. And I think I'm supposed to send you, an invite. I think that's how it goes. Because this is different from Zoom. This is something different. So let's see. If you want to come in and say something, put a thumbs up. First come, first serve. And then I'll send you a link I guess I have to go. Mhm. Are you all still here? I remember Alice said it's like a delay. Um, okay. Okay, so if there's nobody that has anything to say at this time, like I said, this was a platform just to see if it was actually working and to like kind of like put out there um, why I'm on a new channel now and what the purpose thereof is. But actually, this comes through the StreamYard, and then I reconnect because I don't have to connect to YouTube. So when we start talking about more um, personal things in reference to what should be private, I believe. Um, oh, okay. Then we would not be going live because it's about unity and strategic planning. So, but the blessing is those who will be able to hear and understand and see and perceive will be the ones who is going to be um, blessed according to what we have to bring to this international gathering of the fruit. Um, so, I'm 1 hour. I'm glad to not to be um, struggling with no 2, 3, and 4 hours. I just wanted to, but it took me 15 minutes to even get the thing up and running. So basically, it's been about 45 minutes. But hopefully, I'll be able to edit. Um, Now, I wonder why this, because I can barely see. Oh, the community wash hands. Yeah, thank you for your time. Good vibes. And hello. Okay. Uh, Divine Hoodie, you said you can't find the thumbs up. Am I looking at something old? Okay, that was after Hepburn. Okay, fine. Thumbs up. Oh, I don't know where the what it looks like on you all's end as far as a thumbs up is concerned. Oh, if you're coming, are you all seeing me through YouTube or are you seeing me through did you come through Wisdom Speaks? Because actually YouTube should still you couldn't find what Divine Hoodie. I mean, get Divine Lioness Divine. You couldn't find what? Oh, you see me through Wisdom, YouTube Wisdom Speaks. Okay. Oh, on cell phone. Oh, okay. All right, ladies. Sentient, aspirant, divine portals of the absolute. May the divine continue to protect you and provide you, counsel you, and comfort you. And may she have a shield of healing around you all, that you will not be infected, even though we are being affected, that we keep our momentum of what we are to be doing in such a time as this. So, peace, love, and productivity until we are able to speak again. Thank you for coming by. Oh, and I will be trying to edit, at least cut out the first quiet 15 minutes, and then I'm not sure all that. Oh, Gigi, oh, greetings. I'm glad you were still here. So I'm gonna put my email box. So if you want to email me in reference to anything that you've heard or having more questions or it's one. I'm trying to use more than one finger. So I'm actually, it might be a little slow, but I'm actually trying to see. Okay. Trying to coordinate. Okay. Okay, so you can utilize that email. Oh, this station, or this platform, actually I have my a different email, but we'll utilize that one until I get um familiar with the email, the new email myself. So nevertheless, until next time, which hopefully might be later on tonight. I don't know, maybe like 8 or 9, because we want to go over some coronavirus information that the divine had allowed me. Oh, actually, most importantly, I have to read you her word that she gave me. Now I don't know if I'm going to audio, how do you say it? Like put it in a video format and then just speak it, or I think it'll probably travel a lot easier from mine to someplace else if I do an audio and just make some slides to make things look more live instead of just focusing on me, because I was going to actually just leave the camera off of me and just allow the people to just hear my voice, because to me it's really not important about what I look like or having to be seen, when it's most important about hearing the word, so that way, because if people new come in, some people have a tendency to look at the messenger and miss the message because they're trying to judge the outward appearance or something to that effect. So I was going to, and sometimes I still will. I probably will just not necessarily use my the camera, but just being able to hear the voice. So love it. Much respect, ladies. Talk to you all soon. Mwah.